So we're here with Greg Wright Jr. Jujubee's over there. He's doing his own thing. So we're at Winners Training Center. Beautiful area, beautiful time of day. It's Sunday morning. Jujubee's out in the field.
Yep.
He had a good day yesterday. He's won 13 races this year, right?
Right.
And that was his 17th start. So he's won so damn much, man. What is losing stinging a little bit? Like, did you forgot what it was like to lose all these times? You're like, oh, I'm just gonna win every race. Like that's how everybody wants to. But every once in a while, you got to lose, even though you lost by this much. So
right.
I know you wanted to have a win to pick your to have a good post position, but damn, the horse is still absolutely magnificent this whole year. So I'm sure you can't be too upset looking back on yesterday's race.
No, just a little spoiled, like you say. I mean, we just expect him. He's done everything so easy, and yeah, it's unfortunate this one because like you say, the draw. So now we have to wait for that, and that could have a major outcome in the race, as we know. And
probably the one horse is your main competition you didn't want to win, because now he's guaranteed a good post in Cuatro De Julio.
Right.
So was that when you were entering the horse and you supplemented him, do you care about your competition, or do you just say, well, if I do my job with Jujubee, that's him out there. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care who I'm racing against. Were you looking at kind of your competition as why you supplemented, or you're like, no, we're the best horse and we're going to go win this thing?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't really looking at the competition. We just looking at his past performances. He's been so sharp, and he came out of the Futurity good. So I was hoping for no eliminations. That would have been nice, but here we are.
Here we are. Now, going back, I mean, he's had a phenomenal year again. 13 wins. 17 starts. I think there was 3 seconds. So he really only had one subpar race where he didn't finish first or second.
Yeah, he made a break that week actually in the first turn. He had the 10-hole trail in position. He just got a little jammed up and a little confused, I think. And
did you learn anything from that race? Like, hey, we have to make sure equipment change here if we're ever in that position, or some bridle changes, shoeing changes. Was there some, or it was just like, hey, that's a fluke thing?
Yeah, just being green. That was really what I think is like 6th start lifetime, and being trailing, and Tony did a good job getting them out of there, but they just got all jammed up around the first turn, and he just rolled off into the gallop. I mean, I was a little concerned what had happened, but he came back with next week he won. And
when you have a trotter, trotters are more prone to make mistakes. Do you, when they make some sort of mistake like that, do you try to reintroduce them to that mistake so that they get used to it? Like you're saying, he was green and immature in that situation. So did you purposely avoid that situation because you don't want to replicate?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't panic. I mean, I knew, in the situation that he was in, trailing and all that, the horse has been so super. That's Tony. I mean, he said that's what he felt like, just got jammed up. And so we didn't panic. We didn't change anything. We just went back next week, and Tony, I'm sure had it in the back of his mind,
right,
to be a little extra careful, and he was, and away he went.
At what point was it some of the races out at the Meadows? Was it the Muscle Hill on Hamiltonian Day? At what point we're like, we got a horse here. We got a horse here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we were racing against Whiskey Blue there, I know Burks there were high on him, and he was a nice trotter. And when he was going toe-to-toe with him in that series, the beginning of the year, and he was, I mean, he showed that he had the guts and he wanted to win. But it was the first sire stake actually where he really flashed some real speed, and he actually got beat by In Range, but he came first up from like 4th or 5th and cleared down the backside in 26 and 3, opened up, and just In Range came back and
I do remember that.
Wire. But I mean, he showed like unbelievable speed. Tried like a back half 54 and 3. When
coming into that race, In Range at that point he had won a Breeders' Crown Limit 2. He was, I believe, 2nd or 3rd in the final. I forget what. They were all at the wire. Right. So you've got a Breeders' Crown horse coming in, and then before the race, were you kind of like, ooh, In Range is the horse to beat, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
But were you kind of tepid about like, I hope we get second here, or were you like, oh, he's like in range? Hell no, that was Jude. Or were you like, no, I want to see what we've got against a horse like in range, like that's your litmus test?
Right. No, I think going into it, I thought if we were gonna beat him, it was gonna be that race, because you know that was his first start of the year. He's coming off qualifier at the Meadowlands, and we had about 5 or 6 starts on us, and I mean, he's racing real sharp, but we drew the rail, and at the Meadows there, it's a little hard to get off, and it was kind of like the race yesterday. He just kind of got away back.
It's tough, yeah. Like you hit that first turn and you get pinched off a little bit. Everybody's leaving, and it's so easy to leave around the one.
Right.
The rail is only good on a half-mile track.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
that's it. So like you said, you got in a jam. You were away 4th or 5th, right? And then you just got to make your move.
Then Tony came right at the half, and then I mean just asked him, and away he went. And I mean, he got caught at the wire, but that day was where like everybody was like, wow.
Right, and it's kind of like a new confidence to be like, all right, we just took it to, we gave, again, a Breeders' Crown horse one of the best at 2. Like, we gave him our best shot, and he barely got by us.
Right.
So now you're like, we got something here. Like, let's roll. Now, what was the decision to bring him out to the Muscle Hill on Hamiltonian Day?
Well, we needed to start with the sire stakes. We weren't eligible in anything else, so we seen that, and I knew he'd trot like 50 and change there. I talked it over with my owner, and thought, well, let's go try to get a good mark on him. Yeah. And then we took him out there, but then I'd say we got in with Dancing with the Dark.
Dancing in the Dark, right?
And I thought it would be a little easier than that, but.
And watching the race, I mean, he's on his Dancing in the Dark's back, and then he pops out. Now, he was by Dancing in the Dark before he made a break.
Right.
And any other horse probably wouldn't be able to keep up with Dancing in the Dark in that scenario. And he wore him down, and it's almost like Dancing in the Dark had nothing for him. And that's probably, you know, I mean, obviously Dancing in the Dark has his issues, but that was also nice. 2, it's like, no, we didn't win in 49 because Dancing in the Dark made a break. No, we made that horse. Like, you put pressure on that horse, and when you put pressure on, it's nice that you had already like gone by and you see the timer. So yeah, 49-3. I was just gonna say 49 and it was 49-4 at the Meadowlands, and then 4. Okay, everybody in the paddock was like, damn, okay, like nice, all right. I mean, I think that was the first sub 49 mile by a 3-year-old
at the Meadowlands.
At the Meadowlands. So do you remember that like 10 minutes between the drive over the winter circle and sitting in the winter circle taking your picture, and you're like, wait, is that real? 49 and 49 apiece with this horse? Like that must have been super.
Yeah, that really was unbelievable. I didn't at the time. I didn't know it was a track record. This first sub 50 mile by a 3-year-old trotter. Yeah. And I mean, after I heard that really he said, and it was.
You think about all the great 3-year-old trotters, all the great Hamiltonian champs, and you're the first one to go under 50. Like that's got to be. Just think about that, and I'm sure. And everybody says every year, oh, the Hamiltonian will go in 49 this year, and then they don't.
Yeah, right.
and you know, we've had Manchego. She went in 150 in the Oaks, and we've had a couple of, you know, Ramona Hill and Muscle Hill. They went in 15-1. So a lot of greats that have gone in 15 apiece. But again, like no 3-year-old colt trotter has ever gone in 49, and that's something like. Forget about what happens. Like that's something that you can take home for forever, right?
Might last a while there at the Meadows. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it was unbelievable. And obviously, when the winter circle celebration, Ray Remond being there presenting the trophy, was extra. He's good friends with my dad, and I remember being a kid with. Ray Remond down at and
he won the first Hamiltonian. Right. Yeah. Do you know who he won the first Hamiltonian with? First Hamiltonian at the Meadowlands.
some Shy Away
St. Pat.
St.
Yes,
Pat, yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
that was that must have been a nice, like, coming full circle, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got, all right, we got the speed, we got a good horse. Now it's like, well, again, he's not eligible to anything because, you know, he was just eligible some sire stakes and stuff like that. Now we got to start testing our, I guess, we got to start making more money. We got to,
Right.
So at what point did you decide to supplement to the Kentucky Futurity?
Well, not till after the
5 minutes after he trots in
No.
49. That's it. We're all in.
No, I mean, our main goal was the PA Sire Stakes final. I mean, I was actually thinking that was going to be his last start.
Okay.
Like, we really didn't talk about that after the Meadowlands or nothing, but we were focused on the, you know, PA final. And so then it was after that when he won that so handy. And we said, well, I mean, there's some races left.
Might as well, right?
And he came at him all sharp and all that. His starts are starting to get up there now, but he, as you see, I mean, looks great. I mean, he's holding his weight. And his attitude.
It's like he's like, yeah, let's race again. Like,
Right,
again,
yeah.
he just raced yesterday and he's out here running around. It's a beautiful morning. You know, it's unfortunate when Captain Corey, the Hambletonian champ, goes down with a small injury and he's out the rest of the season. Did that have a, you know, when you've got like the number one horse in all that is projected to be in all these races, you're like, well, if Captain Corey wasn't in the Futurity, maybe would you still, or would you want to take it to a horse like Captain Corey? Be like, no, this is my division now. I don't care that you won the Hambletonian. We're coming to take our division.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, the owner would have been, you know,
scared.
That would, yeah.
Okay.
He said it.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have been scared.
He would have came right at him. And you know what? Like, listen, there's a, when you're at the top level, you could go two routes. You could be really camaraderie about saying, hey, we've got 2 or 3 of the best horses and let's just race it out.
Right.
And like, it almost it's like a bond, or you end up hating each other. So who knows? You and Oka could have ended up become best friends or absolute enemies. But with him going down, now it's wide open. You know,
Right.
I mean, so he supplements the Kentucky Futurity. And had you like raced in that race before? Had you experienced that whole kind of pomp and circumstance of being in Lexington in the Red Mile in one of the oldest races that we've got?
I've never raced in it, but my dad, he used to always stable down and have some horses in Lexington, and I'd go down there to the sales as a kid and all that. I mean, I always just loved it. I mean, it was the atmosphere, the best of the best were there. The track's beautiful, and I was really looking forward to it, and I was actually looking forward to Captain Corey, like you said, being in there, you know, banging it out. And I think on a great day, if the conditions were perfect, I think it could have been a world record set.
Oh yeah, well, and
I won.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody would have went home with it.
So somebody would have. So, I mean, what a phenomenal performance! He just goes out to the lead and what did he win by 6 lengths?
Yeah.
I mean, he trotted away from the field, and 49-3, and that's his lifetime mark. And again, like, he backed it up, which. There's plenty of trotters and pacers that have gone one time in whatever their great, but he did it twice now, and that's super special.
Right.
I don't think we expect that at the Meadowlands because it's colder. It's 30 degrees colder than it is in Lexington, so I don't expect any 49 miles. So we can kind of get that out of the way. But 2 49 miles in 1 year it's like you just keep raising your expectations and you're like, wait, are we really doing this? Like, this is really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's what somebody told me. That it was the first 3-year-old to ever go to sub 50 miles.
Yeah.
And I mean, these are
called trotter because Plunge Blue Chip did it. Philly.
Oh, right.
Okay.
But
what's amazing is think about that year. We had Plunge Blue Chip, Manchego, and Atlanta. Did you know none of them have won a Breeders' Crown?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like going into that, or they didn't win the Breeders' Crown that year. I mean,
Okay.
like those 3 horses didn't win the Breeders' Crown.
Really?
Like those 3, we had Manchego, Atlanta, and Plunge Blue Chip, who just 3 phenomenal, unbelievable trotting fillies, and neither one won the Breeders' Crown that year. So it's hard to win one of these things.
Right. I mean, that goes to show you. I mean, it's a long year, and especially for him. I mean, he's been going since first week of March. I mean, I qualified him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his start's been, hit and miss, like 2-3 weeks, and I had to qualify him just once to keep him a little bit tight. That was right before the PA final. But, I mean, he's taking care of himself pretty good. And, down in Lexington, I trained him up pretty good for that race because he missed a week. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a long year, and it's tough for him.
He's generally a nice horse to be around. He's good on the track. He's
he's excellent. He's a gentleman.
Listen,
for being a stud.
He's a 3-year-old colt. He's a knucklehead. Do you have any kids?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are your kids?
My daughter's just turned 19 the other day. My son's 27.
Okay, so when your son was 16, bit of a we're all knuckleheads when we're 15, 16, 17, like Jujube is. But he's, it's nice when you have a horse that generally does his job. He looks easy to drive. I mean, going back to the elim, that first turn was a little, you had one of those moments that you're like, your kind of heart stops with everything just getting a little tight and backed up into each other. And when you have a horse that is easy to drive, they can handle those situations, and you're like, okay, we got through it, no problem. Had to grab them up a little bit, and it didn't seem to bother any of them. So that was nice to see.
Right.
You hate to see when horses get crowded and they blow up, and you're like, oh man, like just something race incidental. Nobody does stuff on purpose. But listen, horses get crowded, they get boxed in, they get boxed up, rate slows, and it was nice to see that they were able to do it. When he's at the top of the stretch, you got Cuatro on your back, and like the race didn't go exactly according to plan, but he's a nice horse, and he proved that, like, no, we still got this. So at the top of the stretch, you're thinking like, all right, we're gonna get there, we're gonna get to the final, or we like, no, we still got to win this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little concerned there. I'm coming off the turn. Well, I thought Andy had him in a great spot. I mean, they kind of backed up. Their fractions were pretty slow, but he looked like when they started sprinting off, and he didn't look like his usual self.
Yeah.
But then it was halfway down the lane, you see him, he started digging, that head started going back and forth, and that horse that beat him, he's a good horse. He's been knocking on the door all year.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I could see, like, I love that the two horses that were fighting at the wire were those two, because you could see that last 50, 100 yards, whatever you call it, a lot of the other horses kind of let up, and the two best horses all year long that have been just there, they're the ones that trotted through the wire. And it's like, that's nice to see when you have horses like that are just like, we're gonna fight right to the absolute last inch.
Right. Yeah. And Andy, he's done such a good job with him driving too, and that's, I mean, he said before the race, I don't want to really start him up and get him in that tight spots there with the rail. So I mean, I'm sure he would have liked to seen it unfold a little differently. But he wasn't disappointed with. That's the first thing he said. I'm not disappointed with him at all. He said he looked like he seemed like he was struggling with the deep track a little bit, and but he said it's nothing to worry about.
How are you going to enjoy this week?
How am I going to enjoy it?
Yeah. How are you going to enjoy this week? I mean, like, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of pressure, but again, the horse has proved like he's phenomenal, and he's made you guys a ton of money. There's still a lot of money on the table, but like, this is where you. Can you enjoy this week, or are you gonna have to wait till afterwards?
I think it's probably the most stressful week so far.
Okay, it is.
But I mean, like, I took his bandages off. Everything seemed nice and cold on him this morning. He ate. Just hopefully have some good weather this week.
How are you gonna? Because you only got the one horse out here. How are you gonna distract yourself? Like, he's sitting in the barn with like 3 baby monitor cameras on his horse, like watching every 2 seconds. He's like, is he okay? I'm watching. What are you gonna do to distract yourself? Be like, no, I need 3 hours away from my horse.
I don't know. He's probably gonna get sick of me this week.
He's like, we're gonna have to walk again. Leave me alone. Let me sleep. I'm fine. Right. So enjoy the week. Enjoy the year. When do you think you'll be able to kind of look back on this year and really reflect on it?
Probably when I turn them out somewhere.
When I
turn them out, get them good rest, and when I don't have to think about think about him. Worry
And
about
then
him.
is the plan next year to win another 14 races?
Yeah, I
Is
hope
that
so.
kind of like
I hope
you,
so.
you just get spoiled with all this winning. It's like,
Right.
no, next year we're just gonna go 14 for 14,
Yeah.
right?
I think he's gonna enjoy his break off.
Enjoy his
and,
break.
I think he'll come back.
All right, man. Well,
Okay.
good luck in the final. Thank you.
All right, thank you.